Hey there, in this tutorial I'll show you how to persist changes you made in any of these ScoreFlash components after you quit playing. There's a few improvements here in version 2 of ScoreFlash, and I'm going to take you through that. First of all, the magic class that does that for you is Play Mode Changes Helper, and I'm using that in ScoreFlash editor and also ScoreFlash Follow 3D editor. I'm not using it in ScoreFlash Manager editor because there's really no changes that you'd want to persist. It's fairly easy to integrate that into your own custom inspector GUIs if you want to. But I'll show you right now how to do that or how to use those in ScoreFlash where they are already available. First, I'm going to create a few objects here, a ScoreFlash Manager and another one, SFA, SFB, just so that we have something to play with. And also I'm going to create a cube, call it a cube with follow 3D. And I'm going to add from the component menu scripts ScoreFlash Follow 3D. I could also grab that from here, ScoreFlash Follow 3D, both works. And I will make a copy. So we got two objects because there's one very nice thing about the new persistence approach that I'm using there. So when one really important thing I should add a, well, I need to do that here, window console, because the persistence class prints some information to the console, which is quite useful. You don't absolutely need that, but I'd like to show you how that works. Basically, while you're not playing, this isn't cluttering the interface, so you don't see anything related to this while you're not playing. But as soon as you hit play, you should notice that there are two checkboxes on the bottom of the custom inspectors, which allow you to keep changes after play. And then there's store immediately, which was the default setting before, and actually the only setting in version 1, but in version 2, you can now uncheck that, which actually I do recommend, but it really depends on what you want to do. And one thing that's important to know, first of all, is that these are per object type. So in other words, ScoreFlash has one setting. So you could say, I don't want to keep these settings for my ScoreFlash Follow 3D, and then this applies to all of them, but it still keeps the changes for ScoreFlash. So it's one thing that you can change according to your needs. For our needs right now, I'm going to keep them, and I'm going to have store immediately unchecked to show you how that works. And then I'm also noticing that there's this message, you have not assigned a GUI skin or a ScoreFlash renderer. You either need to assign one or use a custom renderer, blah, blah, blah. So what's missing here is this GUI skin. I'm going to grab one from the examples just so that this message is no longer relevant. Okay. And when I stop playing, you'll see that the message returns for both of them. But there's also keep changes or discard changes and keep changes of all. So in this case, I'm going to go through step by step, keep changes. You see now the GUI skin is back there. And then here it's not, but I can still see there are other objects of type ScoreFlash which have changes after play mode. Check console for details. So here you can see in the console all the changes that have been applied. When you look at the details here, you see skin, it was none before, and now it's example skin Unity Engine GUI. And that's actually the case for both of them. And also when you click those, you see that they are pinged or highlighted in the editor. So when I say keep changes of all on the one where I've already applied the changes, the result is that all changes are kept. And I also get a message here that this is now persisted. That's basically it. It's very simple. And if I make a few more changes, let's say I'm just going to do some random changes here to show this. I'm going to make a change here in a color. And also another interesting thing here is that when I make changes to the curve, there's also something that you'll notice here. And here I'm just going to make one change. And here I'm going to put that to 1. And this here, well, let's say to 1.5. It's really just for the purpose of demonstrating how that works. So when I stop playing, same thing, I get 4 messages. ScoreFlash, that's the type or the component that has been changed. And this goes to SFB and SFA, my 2 game objects. And then ScoreFlash follow 3D, another cube with follow 3D and a cube with follow 3D. And it also pings those. And one thing that I'd like to show you here is that in the ScoreFlash component where I made a couple of changes, I can really track what the changes were. I can see here, screen align has gone from middle to bottom, min padding from 20 to 20.89 and so on. And also for the colors, you can see the change. There's one, well, I wouldn't call it a limitation here, but I don't really want to list all the changes for arrays. So I just show the first one, and if only the number of items has changed, or actually if the number of items has changed, that's the thing that I'm showing here, because yeah, I don't want to be too verbose here. And that's also one very nice thing. In the curve, you see that out has changed in the first keyframe. So it shows you the number of the keyframe and what's the value in the first version, like in the old version and in the new version. And it's the same here. It's the index of the array and what are the changes. So I think that's really very transparent. And if you say, I don't want those changes, you can say discard changes. And if you click that, nothing will change here in the inspector, but you will see that you can no longer keep the changes for that object. So in this case, I'm gonna keep them to show you, okay, now the changes are kept. And here it's the same thing. If I say keep changes, the changes are simply reapplied to the object that I'm working on. So this is if you decide to not store the changes immediately. And obviously, if you click that here and here, and I make some changes, I'm going to reset that. I'm going to put that, well, to 1.76 and this one to whatever, just some random values, just so I have something to show you. Let's see. I'm going to change the initial offset. And also here. Now if I stop playing, you see the changes are immediately there. And to make sure that this is transparent and what has happened, this shows you what changes have been applied. So I think this should be a very robust and nice approach, and I hope you enjoy using it. And if you want to use that for your own components, feel free to do so. Only if you want to include this in your packages, you need to talk to me first, because you only have a license to use that for your own project, but not for reselling it. So as usual, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them on the Unity forum, which is linked also from this YouTube video. And I hope you enjoy using ScoreFlash, and especially the persisting of the changes in play mode. Thanks for watching. Bye.